Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance. X Insurance. From the SIG Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Oh yeah, Greg's favorite day of the week. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense kicks off the Friday afternoon for you. How the heck are you today? Welcome inside the 6 Hour Studios with me, Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. And on this beautiful Friday, cold, but a nice day, we're in front of the Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center microphones, all being brought to you by the great X Insurance. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing, my brother?
Yeah, not too bad. The cold's still here. We're at 32. It's pretty cold.
All right, well, thanks for that. It's been one of those days. I'm not in a good mood. Angry Mark might very well come out today. You just never know.
All right.
You just never know. So we're up on all the social media platforms. Go ahead and tell people where to watch us and participate in the chat and all that good stuff, and then we'll get cracking. We have 2 guests today. Count them, 2 and 2.
That sounds like we got a double hitter there.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, if you want to watch the show, you can head over to X and watch at AAR Mark, on Fascist Book at Mark's page. I forget what exactly the name of that is.
Yeah, probably Armed American Radio on Facebook, maybe.
Yep, and let's see, we've got Armed American Radio with Mark over at YouTube and Rumble, and you can also head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com. On the right-hand side of that website, you'll see the menu icon. Just give that a click, and when that window opens up, you can select that Watch Live option. If you're driving, hit that Listen Live link. And if you missed any previous episode of this program, head on over to the podcast link. If you'd like to join our live chat, all you have to do is head on over to your app store, grab the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Stay on that dump switch, Greg. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood.
All right.
Just, I'm warning you right now. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth today. Let's start with Paul Markle, student of the gun. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm great. I wanted to go on record that Mark is the one who always tells me to be FCC friendly.
Yeah, he does.
Reminds me. Mm-hmm. Put that on record. And it's also 39 degrees in the mountains. So am I warmer than you?
You are.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me check.
Definitely warmer than Dallas.
Yeah, I was looking at the stock market today. That didn't help my mood. Let's look at the weather today. It's 46 here today. Low of 17. Ouch. Yeah, 25 low tonight, 29 tomorrow. Sunday going into Sunday, 32, 39. Come on, Greg, man. Send us some weather, would you please? It's not.
Hey, bro, this is going to be the worst of it. You just got to get through it.
Okay. Parkland dad, Ryan Petty, down in Florida, where I don't know what the weather is there, but I guarantee it's better than it is here. How you doing, Ryan? Welcome in.
I'm doing well, Mark. Yeah, it's warmer here. I'm not going to say what it is because it just makes everybody mad at me.
Go ahead. Just go there.
All right. I can tell you. So I'm freezing, but it is it's 67 where I'm at.
Paul, did you want to say anything before I get going here?
No, we don't have any mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Or gators.
or alligators, right? That counts for something, no doubt about it. So, okay. All right. Well, it's Friday. Let's talk a little Kash Patel. And, Paul, I'm going to start with you. Kash Patel is going to come in to Washington with a wrecking ball. What do you expect to see from him?
Quite frankly, I don't have any expectations. Because we've been, when they say that you're on the floor, the only direction you have to go is up. And direction you have to go is up. Yeah, the only direction you have to go is up, when you're in the basement. And I think that's where we are with the government right now. I mean, I guess it could have been worse, if we got that moron and if they'd installed the moron as president. But and I think just about anything he does is going to be good. And this continuous exposure, what I see every day, and I'm sure you guys are seeing it too, is that those who are our intellectual enemies are exposing themselves
You've got platforms that don't have audio.
Yeah,
YouTube.
That's been corrected. We had that problem yesterday, and it should be corrected right now, guys. So make sure it's good. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't have audio on YouTube right now. I'm on YouTube on the video on the live stream.
Yeah, it's coming back up right now.
All right, perfect. Did come up.
It was
Cool.
a setting, yes.
Yeah, I'm just checking all the feeds.
Yeah, I had, guys, just so you know, I was on with AWR Hawkins on downrange today. Not downrange, but on his podcast with SIG. And it required a whole lot of movement changes to get mics and everything up and running because we run an unusual setup here because of the network and the feed to Salem Radio. But it's back up. We should be good, and I apologize. Par for the course for this day, Holmes.
Right? And video on your website's not streaming.
No, it's not. The Daily Show's not. Only Sundays for now.
Oh, well then I thought we were back on the Daily Show on the website also.
No, those guys are going to add that back in when they get around to it. I don't have access to that. The Sunday shows are good. And frankly, that's my big concern when we're on other platforms. But so viewers, I apologize for that audio. There was a lot going on here today working with some other folks on some other interviews that we did on video interviews. And the interface here, like I said, it's a little bit unusual. Had that problem briefly yesterday too, but it's fixed. Par for the course for this shitty day. Which was interesting, by the way. The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. Man, when it rains, it pours, Greg, in Dallas, Texas.
Of course.
It just does. You know, lousy day begets lousier day. And I don't mean from personal things, just a lot of crap going on. Those of you that like to watch the live stream, I want to apologize. I did a couple of video interviews today, and it required changing some setups, and some settings were not changed back. So you got us on the mics live again, and I apologize for that. We have a bizarre setup here because of the radio show.
There's a lot of different things happening.
Yeah, remember, it's not a video show, it's a radio show. But we're done with that. Paul Markle, student of the gun, welcome back in, brother. How you doing?
Oh, just dandy. Just dandy.
Handy dandy, peachy.
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
Petty.
No.
Welcome back, Ryan. How are you, man?
As well as can be expected, but I'm happy it's Friday.
Okay, so we knocked out a little bit of the FBI, and I think we're all in agreement here that Kash is going to bring a wrecking ball. So, having said that, let's move to ATF. 30 GOP senators, guys, have signed a letter asking or urging is just asking a little bit more sternly. I want to see demand, but urging the ATF to rescind its regulatory gun controls implemented under Biden. Paul, I'm going to start with you. What are the odds that they will react positively to 30 GOP senators urging them to rescind their regulatory gun controls that they put in place over the past 4 years? You think that's going to happen? You think the ATF is just going to go, okay?
No, they're not going to willingly do anything. You need to start putting them in jail. You need to start charging people, and you need to take their money away. Take away their money, and then we should not. Our senators shouldn't go one day further without an investigation about the murder of the gentleman in Arkansas. I'm sorry, his name's escaping me right now.
Yeah, the airport executive director there.
Yeah. We're just going to let that go. We're going to let go that the federal government organized the just straight up assassination of an American citizen over nothing.
Well, we let Vegas go. We let Vegas go.
If the sheriff would have done that, and this is the thing, as someone who was local law enforcement, I realized a long time ago that there's a big difference between feds and state and local. Like, for instance, the murderers that killed Randy Weaver's son and his wife, they would have been in prison if they would have been municipal police officers. If they would have been sheriff's deputies, they would be in prison. But because they had federal badges, they got to walk free. Hey, they got gold watches.
Yeah.
We can't pretend like we have a representative republic as the United States of America when federal agents can just fly around the country and kill citizens for nothing.
Well, we don't. There's been no accountability. Yeah. It's not just him. I mentioned Vegas, no accountability. I could go on down the list. I go Waco. You go Ruby Ridge. We can go to every one of the FFLs that had their licenses taken, their livelihoods destroyed because of the regulatory burdens put on them by a rogue ATF. Ryan, you're an FFL holder. You're very familiar with the shenanigans going on at that rogue, dump switch, Greg.
Rogue agency.
On that rogue agency, right? Okay. Ryan, look, here's the deal. We don't have an acting director right now for the ATF yet. So nothing is going to happen. They're going to ignore everything coming at them. And even if we do put in a quote-unquote 2A friendly director of the ATF, which I feel certain Trump will eventually do, you've got career bureaucrats in there that are just not going to move in the direction Trump wants to move, and they're proving that now in other agencies, Ryan. Why should we be optimistic? Why don't we, this is where I'm hoping maybe Kash jumps in, or maybe Bondi jumps in and starts putting some teeth into this stuff and ending these people's careers, getting rid of them once and for all, and jailing some of these people. Ryan.
100%. Look, let me give you a reason to be a little bit hopeful, Mark. I don't know if you saw this. It flashed this afternoon across my screen on Twitter, but there's the general counsel for the ATF, Pamela Hicks. She tweeted today, or as she put it out on Facebook or LinkedIn, one of those places, but she said, earlier today I was served official notice from the Attorney General of the United States that I was being removed from my position as the chief counsel of ATF and my employment with the Department of Justice terminated. Pam Bondi looks like she's taking action against some of these rogue folks. And I'll guarantee this Pamela Hicks, being the chief counsel at ATF, nothing that they did in their regulatory schemes to try to hurt legitimate FFLs and to go after legitimate law-abiding gun owners. Nothing that the ATF did wasn't approved by this Pamela Hicks. So getting rid of somebody like Pamela Hicks and getting her off the payroll and getting her out of government is a step in the right direction. It gives me a little bit of hope that they, A, understand the problem, B, they've started to take names, and 3, they're going to start firing.
Yeah, I don't think I'm alone here in what I'm about to say, but I'm sick of holding on to hope, Paul. I'm ready to see some action. Now, I know Trump's been in office a month, and he's been working at blazing speed, just, lightning speed. I get it. I know he's got a full plate. And I'm hopeful that my wish to start holding some of these very bad people accountable, and I don't mean civilly, I mean criminally, eventually
Absolutely.
comes to fruition. And I'm hopeful that will happen. And I feel much better about it with Kash at the helm of FBI. But I'm ready. I'm ready to see it. And like I think millions of Americans, I don't think I'm alone in that. I'm ready for it yesterday, right? You too?
Well, my curiosity is piqued. So why are all these scumbag liberals still in the United States, the ones who promised to leave? And weren't we flooded with tweets and that all these federal employees that would refuse to work for Kash Patel, they're going to refuse to work for Donald Trump, they're all going to quit. Leave.
Yeah. Well, it's customary, Ryan, as you know, for a president to come in and fire prosecutors, from the other administration. That's customary. We see that. I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever go far enough, at least for my satisfaction, Ryan. And that's just me. But I don't know that we'll go far enough for that. Do you think we will? Hopefully one day, soon, maybe, we will see accountability from these scumbags who have wrecked this country.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to go far enough, Mark, but I like this first move. What I would like to see also Pam Bondi do and the DOJ do is go back through her emails and find out if she broke the law. And if she did break the law in these schemes, then she should be prosecuted.
All right, we'll be back right after this break. We've got 2 more segments on a Friday. We're talking with Paul Markle, student of the gun, and Parkland father Ryan Petty. We'll be back right after this.
Daniel Defense firearms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day here in the SIG Sauer studios in front of the Patriot Mobile Command Center microphone. If you're watching the show, it's a Patriot Mobile phone. You can have one too. It's real easy. PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Please visit all of our partners. You can find them all at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. We'll talk about more of those after the next break. Welcome back in, guys. It's all being brought to you by the great X Insurance. Ryan Petty down in Florida at 67 degrees. I love you, but I hate you, but I love you. You know what I mean.
I'm sorry, Mark. I can't control the weather.
I miss home. I do. I miss Florida. I really do. But boarding up my house and all that stuff and fleeing anymore. I'm kind of tired of that. Paul Marco, student of the gun. How you doing, brother?
I'm great. And you know what I don't miss about being in the South?
What's that?
I don't miss how everything molds and mildews and rusts.
Yeah, I had that problem in a roof, in my roof not too long ago with that. I had to have that.
Mold, mildew, rust.
That's because it's hot and humid, you know. It just is.
That's right. It's dry up here. You can put stuff in your garage and it doesn't rot.
Well, you know. You need some food supplies up there because you actually do have a ranch and you're kind of remote out there. So get some Heaven's Harvest food. We'll send you some. So, guys, Colorado. Now, I want to give you listeners, just preface this. We're going to have Amanda Harden and possibly one more guest joining us for a mini roundtable in the second hour of Sunday's broadcast coming up to talk about what is going on in Colorado. It is unbelievable. And I want to tie this to the assault weapons ban Fourth Circuit case today. It is now 4:35 on the East Coast if you're listening to us live. If you're catching us on a delayed broadcast, the Supreme Court conference has already ended. So, Ryan, I want to take this to you first, and we'll circle back to use Jen Psaki famous phrase. To you, Paul. Ryan, I'm going to tie both of these together because the ban that is moving through Colorado is egregious, to say the least. It essentially bans, well, an entire class or classes of semi-automatic firearms, including many handguns that are in absolute common use. Now, here's how we tie this together. We are hopeful that we will find out on Monday, maybe the latest on Tuesday, the absolute latest Wednesday. I think we'll know Monday, quite frankly. That's been the MO over the last four conferences here with the Supreme Court. But I feel pretty good that the Supreme Court is going to wind up taking the Maryland Fourth Circuit case. That ties into Colorado because it deals with gun bans of commonly owned firearms, of course, in this case, assault weapons, but that is what Colorado is describing, including the pistols using the descriptions that they're currently using, which will make it, if they take it, we feel confident, Ryan, that we will win the case. It won't happen overnight, but Paulus in Colorado has designs on furthering his political career. So if he knows the Supreme Court is going to take that Fourth Circuit case, is he smart enough to understand, well, hell, I'm not going to sign this gun ban if I want to run for Senate or higher office down the road, including president? Is he smart enough to figure that out? And do you see the tie-in that I'm referring to here between the Snopes case, which independently has nothing to do with Colorado, but you see how it does? Am I on the right track here, do you think?
Well, I hope you are. You know, I'm not a lawyer and I don't follow the Supreme Court that closely, but this is, you know, we're getting legislatures across the various judicial districts in the country that are way out of line from what where they should be. We know from Bruin, right? And just common sense, first of all. And it's very likely that we're going to see different districts with different rulings, and the Supreme Court's going to have to go. It's almost as if they're waiting for this sort of to brew and boil over, and then they'll take the case. Now, I wish they'd take the cases now and just say, you guys didn't. Maybe I'm just impatient, but maybe you didn't understand us with Bruin. This stuff is all, you know, unconstitutional. Stop doing this nonsense. But I understand the judiciary works differently, and they'll sort of wait until it all percolates up, and then at some point, I'm hopeful they'll take the case and make it definitive. But that won't stop the gun grabbers from trying everything they can. This is never going to stop until the people of Colorado and the people of Maryland and everywhere else stop electing these clowns.
Paul.
Yeah, amen to that. And we need to start, we have to have a hard conversation with ourselves. Is the United States Constitution the, quote, supreme law of the land? Is it or is it not? And there are some people in the Democrat Party that apparently don't believe that it is. Now, they believe that it is when they want to hold on to it or when they want to use it as a hammer to club their opponents. But the fact of the matter is, when you have legislators who are plotting and scheming to circumvent or to violate, let's just go ahead and say violate, the actual law. They know what the law is, and their plot or their plan is to violate the law. How are they not? We're not holding people responsible. See, that is why all this nonsense happens, because it goes right back to the ATF and the FBI. Let's face facts. For Waco, for Ruby Ridge, it was the ATF and the FBI holding hands as they killed American citizens. So we don't hold people responsible. We don't hold them responsible for their behavior. And when we don't hold these people in Congress, Senate, the governor seats, they're not held responsible. They're like, well, we can just do whatever we want. No, you can't. Now, going to the larger, broader problem that we have is that the Democrat Party discovered a long time ago, if they can pile a bunch of their sycophants up into major metropolitan areas, that they can control the states. The larger problem is the fact that what we have is basically going back to 1775, we have taxation without representation. Look at Illinois, look at Michigan, look at Colorado. The people in western Colorado, northern Colorado, even southern down, like formerly Mexico, Colorado, generally are very conservative type people. And their state has been stolen from them by criminals in the greater Denver area, Denver, Boulder area. I mean, there's basically two counties that control all of Colorado. We can't pretend to have representative, republicanism when you have, like, Cook County. Cook County it basically rules Illinois, and everybody knows it. And they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? We can't change Cook County. Well, then you're in a position where you have no representation. You're paying taxes to these criminals, and they're controlling you. Until we have what's going to essentially be an electoral college for the states.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you've got.
Well, Oregon wants to separate. Eastern Oregon wants to separate. Eastern Washington wants to separate. Idaho is open to it. These are ongoing, live, real conversations that are getting involved in legislative bodies in Idaho. They have already signaled that they're okay with that. And you're absolutely correct, because obviously that's why we have an electoral college. But, guys, let me tell you how sick this country is. This Luigi Mangione lunatic clown murderer had an entire gaggle of supporters at his court hearing today outside supporting this man. These are sick people, period. When we come back from the break, I want to talk, that's going to lead into where we go into the next segment. And I also want to talk a little bit about the movement afoot in North Carolina right now that appears to be getting some pretty solid legs on constitutional carry. And I'll bring you up to speed with a conversation I had with AWR Hawkins on his podcast earlier today. And we'll go all the way back to 1987 in Florida to do that. And we'll get some thoughts from both Ryan and Paul as we move forward. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense continues. One more segment to go on a Friday. I'm not going to lie to you. Good. I can't wait till Sunday. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense continues after the break. We're talking with Ryan Petty and Paul Markle. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Cameras on.
This segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
Back to the show, indeed. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today on what has been just a bizarre Friday. That's all I can tell you. But I'm glad it's Friday. Greg, I'm going to echo your sentiments there. Glad that it's Friday. Guys, please go out of your way. Visit our partners. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. BudsGunShop.com is the real deal. I'll be broadcasting from their Sevierville, Tennessee location as of right now, a future date, but it won't be long from now. It'll be within the next few weeks, and we're looking forward to some other remote broadcasts coming up in the spring. I'll keep you posted on all that fun stuff. In the meantime, please go out of your way to support the partners that make all of that possible for you. If you're planning on going to the NRA convention in April, I will be there. I'll tell you more about where we can shake paws and all that fun stuff over that 2-day event. And then, we might even be barbecuing at the ranch with some fine folks, and we'll have some great interviews put together for you on that show. That's all coming up. Lots of fun stuff going on. Welcome back to the program. We're going to close out a Friday with this segment with Paul Markle and Ryan Petty. Paul, let me go back to you quickly. There's a movement afoot in North Carolina that I was mentioning in the previous segment to bring constitutional carry to that state. Part of the conversation I had with AWR Hawkins today on his podcast was a lot of fun. I usually interview him for the last 10, 12 years, and it was fun to be interviewed by AWR. We're not rookies at this together. And we got involved in the conversation that goes back to 1987 to Florida. And I kind of made the comparison, I think it's a good analogy, that I feel, and I really do feel, as much as I hate to admit this, that the country had to suffer through those 4 years of Biden to get where we're at right now. If Trump had walked back in for a second term, imagine with the lawfare they were going after him, they would have tried to impeach. They wouldn't have tried. They would have impeached him multiple times. Who knows what they would have done. They wanted him out. They wanted him dead, and they would stop at nothing. And we would likely have a Democrat in office right now. So where I'm going with this is, that whole collective relief. We look over our shoulders and go, man, what in the world just happened? So if we go back to 1987, keeping that in mind, to when Florida put in the permit structure that is widely regarded as what gave us the permit structure going forward. But it took years for all of the states to finally jump in line. Now you have 50 states that have some permit, process in place, all of them. Whether they honor that, like Hawaii or other states that make it difficult to get it, at least the permit structure is in place, Jersey, et cetera. Bruin helped stifle a lot of that, a lot of the problems that people had with that. So here now, you have the constitutional carry movement that moved at warp speed compared. And the reason I mentioned the whole Biden thing is we had to go through that to feel the pain. We had to go through that infringement of permit process, I believe, looking back in hindsight, which is always high definition in the rearview mirror, to get to where we're at with constitutional carry. Now, here we are with North Carolina poised to become the 30th constitutional carry state. How do you see that going forward compared to what we had to go through to get permits that took so many years? Is it possible? Is it going to require another Supreme Court victory before we finally bring states like New York, Illinois, California, Washington, just name any state behind the blue wall into the mix that they finally recognize our right to bear arms without a permit? Trying to stay in my seat today.
No, I think we're just about at max capacity when it comes to states that are going to affirm North Carolina, if they could just get rid of these little grubby, money grubbing sheriffs in their state there.
North Carolina is not a gimme. Let's make that clear. It's not a gimme.
Yeah, you got these money grubbing sheriffs. They're like, well, what are we? We're not going to get the money for the permits now. Your job is not to make money and tax. Your job is not to take the people's rights and hold them hostage and extort money out of them. That's not your job. I know you think it is, but it's not your job. And until we change the narrative, we have to change the narrative that permits are extortion. End of story. Mm-hmm. if it's a right, then you don't have to pay for it. You can't say out of one side of your mouth, "Oh yeah, we're support." You know that you get these guys, these money grubbing sheriffs in places like, and it's not just North Carolina, but a lot of them have stepped up and they're like, well, "I don't support this because," and then notice they never say, "Well, it'll keep guns out of criminals' hands." Like the permit system doesn't keep guns out of criminals' hands; it keeps money in your hand, and you like money, don't you? Yeah. But we have to confront them with the fact that, hey, do you believe it's right? I do. I support the Second Amendment, but I think you have to pay for it. Then it's not a right. Then it's a privilege.
It's a privilege. Greg in Dallas, this conversation came up a few weeks ago. Was it Alabama where the sheriff was all pissed off because he was going to lose his money because of the permits
Several
in
sheriffs
the state
in Alabama.
In Alabama. Ryan Petty, you guys have a fight on your hands down there with open carry. How do you see this playing out? Keeping in mind what again, it's easy to look back in the rearview mirror. I hate that it took so long to get the permit structure in place, but that was all we had to work with at the time. We're moving past that. North Carolina is not a gimme. It's not a guarantee, but at least it's a step in the right direction. And as much as I hate to admit this, because like every absolutist out there, I want it all now. Realistically, that's not going to happen. Do you see, or how do you see, I should say, getting constitutional carry where the Second Amendment is my permit, keep and bear arms? How do we get there? And do it quickly and not have to wait like we did with Florida after 1987.
Yeah, it seems to be a process, Mark. I'd love for it, I'd love for these state legislatures to just recognize, to Paul's earlier comment, that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights reign supreme in the United States, and we will pass no laws that will infringe on that. And that includes charging somebody for the right to carry a firearm, to bear arms, right? And so the process we're going through right now seems to be pulling a lot of people, including legislators, governors, and Paul's exactly right. Many sheriffs who have gotten used to and like the power that they hold over their communities to be able to say, yes, you can carry a firearm, or no, you can't carry a firearm, regardless of whether or not you've been charged with a crime and convicted of a crime, more importantly. And so it seems to be that just bit by bit, what we're seeing here in Florida is exactly an example of that. First, it's the shall carry, and now we've got what we call constitutional carry. And soon, I think, in Florida, we'll have open carry.
I hope you're
right.
It's
a process, and I think it requires, unfortunately, convincing a lot of folks who have a stake in the power grab or in the money grab. It takes convincing them that they do not have the constitutional authority to do the things that they have previously been doing.
And hopefully we can put a stop to that. Paul, I'm going to give you the last word. We've only got a few seconds. Make it really quick. But how stupid are the Democrats? Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg are front runners for 28 in the latest polls from Democrats.
Oh, we can only hope.
Yeah, right.
No, we can only hope.
Read the
go to
memo.
SOTGU.com. SOTGU.com. Sign up for training. Coming to Tennessee and Texas.
SOTGU.com. Ryan Petty, thank you for being here. Paul Markle, student of the gun, thank you for being here. And Greg, I didn't need the dunk switch. Came close a couple times, but no big deal. Friday day is over. Can't wait for Sunday's Monster Cast. We're going to be talking about Colorado. Lots going on that show as well. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Stay safe. And remember, carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. See you on the radio.
You've just filled your...
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Apologize for that little snafu at the beginning. That was because of a lot of crap we got going on here with the way things are set up and a couple of video interviews that I had to do earlier. As I mentioned, I apologize for that. If you're listening on the radio, of course, that didn't happen. You didn't get anything muted. But on the video streams, you did. So, again, thanks for hanging in there with us. We appreciate it. So, guys, we got a good show lined up for you. Keep your fingers crossed for Monday about the Supreme Court conference today. That's going to be interesting. Now, I should have said this on the air, Greg, but I didn't. I'm going to put my money on the Supreme Court taking the case. I think they're going to take the case. I think we're going to get good news. At the very worst, I don't think they're going to deny cert. And if they don't deny cert, it just means it's going to be put off. But for them to go this late in the term to bring this case up and redistribute it for conference, to me bodes very, very well. That's just my personal opinion. I've not spoken to anybody outside my own gut on that one, but I feel pretty comfortable with it. So here's what I want you to do. Stay safe, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time, and I'll see you on the radio on Sunday. Have a good weekend.